Now, if you're wondering why I just took off the entire front end of my car, it's because today we're gonna be chopping some holes in this car and I'm a little scared. One of the biggest issues I have with the car right now, especially during the Arizona summer, is the car runs a little hot. It doesn't overheat per se, but especially when I run the AC, the car runs a little bit warmer than I like it. And I've tried everything with the coolant system. I've switched the radiator caps. I have burped the coolant a million times, but I can't seem to get the car to run cold or colder when the AC is on. And it's only when the AC is on, because when the AC is off, the car runs really cold, which is good. But I think my problem is when we went to the front mount intercooler, there's just not enough airflow going to our upgraded CSF radiator. Not to mention, I also installed this front support brace, which doesn't help at all when it comes to airflow. So today, we're gonna be chopping some holes in these two pieces right here. Over here, I have some neat pieces from Verus Engineering. I have their hood louvers, which are designed specifically for the STI hood, as well as their hood scoop block-off plate. Now, what this does is it basically forces air through the front of the bumper where the intercooler is, or sorry, the radiator is, as opposed to creating a high pressure area inside the hood, because normally the hood scoop is for the top mount intercooler, but since we don't have that, we have this big old front mount. All that empty space is just, there's some air science behind it that I don't totally understand, but from what I hear, this does a good job of fixing it. I also have the hood vent kit right here, which basically draws air out of the engine bay, and they usually go kind of right here on the hood, so it'll help to evacuate some of that heat around the radiator. I'm hoping with the combination of both of these things that it's going to help our in-bay temps and help the car to run a little bit cooler, especially when it's hot outside and I'm cranking the AC, because I do enjoy running the AC, especially when it's 110 degrees outside. So Verus actually gives you templates that you install on the underside of the hood, and it tells you where to punch your holes and where to cut. So it should make this process relatively straightforward, but I still need to take my time because I really don't want to have to buy another hood. I did also go out and get an air saw for this. I feel like this is going to be a little bit easier than using an angle grinder. Also, from what I hear, these don't spark, so that'll be nice. I don't want to have sparks flying over the hood and to hit the paint on the car. So let's get started. Okay, so I just got the two templates in place. I got them as similar as I could on both sides. So now it's time to start punching holes. I've double checked, I've triple checked, they're in the right spot. So it's time to get it done. Okay, so we got all of the holes punched. That basically just acts as a guide for the drill bit so the drill bit doesn't walk. And now it's time to drill, which is the most stressful part, because once I put a hole in this hood, it's full send from there. So the instructions say to start out with a 1/16 bit and then step it up from there. So that's what I have right here, a 1/16 bit. And then we are going to just go from there. Yeah. All right, here goes nothing. I'm gonna start the camera when this is done. Okay, so all of the holes for the studs on the air vents are drilled. Now the only thing I have left to do hole-wise is to drill out the four corners of the big like square that we're gonna cut. So I had to run to the store and grab this. This is a step bit, it goes all the way up to 1/2 inch, is what we needed. This was like low-key kind of expensive. It was like 30 bucks for a drill bit, but here we are. I'm gonna have to touch up some areas on these holes. This hood was resprayed at some point in its life, and the paint is starting to flake, but I have a little touch-up pen, so I'm just gonna kind of clean that up, put some touch-up paint over it. I'm not too worried about it just because it's gonna be under the air vent anyways, but I wanna clean it up just so it doesn't flake more. Okay, so now with our holes drilled, we've basically marked the outline of the edge that we need to cut. So I'm going to get in here with the air saw and start cutting. This is the most nerve-wracking part. Although I guess like we're already committed, so just gotta start cutting. Well, no going back now. This air saw does dust a bunch. Okay, so we are pretty far into the future now. I cut both holes and I have spent like the last hour and a half just like trimming down certain parts. As you can see around here, just to clearance the bolt hole or just to clearance the nuts that are gonna be going on. That took forever because I was doing it with the Dremel. I tried to do it with the air saw, but it's just not stable enough that it jumps around and I didn't wanna risk accidentally hitting something that I didn't want to. But I have both of the vents like temporarily in place. So I'm going to try to bolt them down and then flip it over and we'll see what it looks like. Oh, I like that. I think that's good. I think they turned out pretty good. The only gripe I do have is it does kind of overlap this body line, but it's whatever. This is one of those things where it's like function over form, and I'm installing it the way that they have it intended, but they fit really well. I think if I wasn't in a little bit of a hurry tonight, I would pull them back off and I might like fix that little edge in there and this edge right here, but I can do that another time. I just want to get this finished because I do have to drive the car tomorrow, but I think they look good. Like they are aggressive. I gotta clean the hood still, but they're aggressive. They will be functional and they look pretty cool. So I've definitely also probably scratched up my hood just a little bit. Probably needed another paint correction anyways. Quite honestly, at some point in the future, I want to respray this entire car, but for right now, it's all right. Now there is one more piece left on the hood before we can move on to the bumper, and that is the easiest one to install, and that is the hood scoop block off plate. Like I said earlier, this basically forces the air into the front as opposed to the hood scoop, and it just kind of helps with turbulence, in-bay turbulence and stuff like that. There's some science aerodynamics behind it that I won't even try to explain, but it works, and I think it'll do wonders in conjunction with these vents. Install is really simple. It literally just screws into this little piece here on the bottom like that. And this piece will go into there like that. So I'm gonna install this real quick. So there we have it. We have the block off plate as well as both air vents installed. And honestly, I think it looks really good. I think it's subtle, but just aggressive enough. And it looks super clean up top. I think I'll clean it up a little bit in the future, but for right now, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks good. And I do actually really like the block off plate with it as well. I think it just kind of makes the hood look more complete. Before we put the hood back on, I want to get the bumper on the table so I can start cutting out the bumper. So we're not done with the cutting quite yet. Okay, so my plan for tonight with the front bumper is not a whole lot, honestly. I just want to get rid of all of these fins up front and just have it be one open spot. I debated cutting up higher, but I honestly just don't think I have time. And I'm worried that if I cut too high, you're going to be able to see the intercooler front support, like this bash bar right here, which I don't really want. So we're basically going to cut all of the fins out and then cut like just a sliver off these little angle pieces. It'll also kind of block a little bit from the sides, because when you remove these, you start to like be able to see into the bumper, and it honestly just does not look that good to me. So we'll at least get rid of this, and that will add just barely a little bit more airflow, but I think it'll also look just a little bit better. So here we go, we're cutting round 2. will say, guys, you have got to get an air saw because that literally took that process and chopped it in half. I was originally gonna do it with the Dremel, but since I had the air saw, I figured might as well just put it to use, and I literally did the whole cut in like 5 minutes. I mean, granted, there wasn't a whole lot of material there to cut, but made it super quick. And then I went through with the Dremel and like cleaned up all of the edges. So I actually changed my mind. I think I'm gonna leave these little caps off because it might be kind of cool to see the end tanks of the intercooler on either side. So we'll see how it looks. If I always want to put them back on, I can, but right now, I'm happy with what that looks like. I think if I had more time, I'd be a little bit more diligent with my cuts right now, but I do have to finish this today and get it up and running for tomorrow. And I can always come back and clean it up, but I'm happy with the way it looks, especially the hood. I think the hood turned out great. So without further ado, get both of these back on the car. Nah, I changed my mind. I'm gonna put the little end tanks back on. Thankfully, don't worry about the lip, it's been scratched and abused. Still have a little bit of open space right there, but it's way better than it was. Definitely need those two little slanted caps, but I really like the way that this looks. For whatever reason, I'm having a hard time focusing. Now, last but not least, time to get the hood on. Got the hood back on, and here we go for the final reveal. Dang. I think that looks super sweet. Subtle, but a little bit more aggression in the front. It's not as low as it is because it is on blocks right now, but I think this thing looks really good. These vents turned out really good. I actually do like the positioning a lot now. Now that it's on the car, I thought I was gonna want it back a little bit more, but I think right where they are is pretty perfect. Overall, not that bad of an install. Took me a little bit longer because I've never like cut up any bodywork or anything, but definitely if you have some experience with a body saw or something like that, you could get this done in an hour, easy. So really not that bad. I know that cutting up your hood is pretty intimidating, at least it was for me, but this is super easy. And the instructions they give you make it it's very straightforward. Cut some holes, drop it into place, call it a day. I'm curious to see how much of an effect I will notice in the actual car when looking at temperature readings. Hopefully I see a big difference. I mean, this is partly for looks, but it's also for function too. I really need to evacuate some of that hot air from behind the radiator out of the hood, so hopefully this works. I really don't want to have to cut more of my front bumper. One more thing that I did install before I wrap up this video, and I did it just in a short video on Instagram, but I did get a new Type RA steering wheel. The old leather one was just so crusty, and I really wanted an Alcantara suede steering wheel, so I forked out the dough for the Type RA like S209 Ultra Suede one, and it's really nice. I'm like happy with it. I like coated it in kind of like a fabric coat so it doesn't get as dirty as fast, but I'm definitely gonna have to make sure that I am like on top of it when it comes to cleaning it. But it looks pretty good. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I'm really kind of like running out of attainable ideas right now for this car. Like I've really done most everything I want to with it, other than like some crazy body kit, but really the only body kit that I like is the Verus kit, and unfortunately I don't have the space, I don't have the tools, I don't know how to do like a wide body kit like that, and especially I don't have the money, because that full like Verus wide body kit, it's like almost 30 grand when it's all said and done when you option everything out, and then you gotta wait like forever for the parts to come from Japan. So I don't know, I'm really happy with the way that this car is right now. But if you guys have any ideas on what to do next, let me know down in the comments below, and we'll try to figure something out. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully if you guys are gonna do this on your car, you have a smooth experience like we did. But appreciate you guys for watching. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.